हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू कॉग्निसॉल्वर। तो आप लोग को थंबनेल देख के समझ में आ ही गया होगा कि हम लोग ईमेल इंटीग्रेशन की बात करने वाले हैं इस वीडियो में विद योर जावा स्प्रिंग बूट एप्लीकेशन। सो इस वीडियो को शुरू करने से पहले मैं कुछ प्री रिक्विजिट बता देता हूँ कि इस वीडियो को देखने से पहले क्या प्री रिक्विजिट है। तो आपको जावा आनी चाहिए, आपको स्प्रिंग बूट आना चाहिए, ठीक है। तो ये सारी चीज़ें मैं आपको जावा के बेसिकली आपको जावा डेवलपमेंट आनी चाहिए। दिस आर द प्री रिक्विजिट फॉर दिस वीडियो, बिकॉज इस वीडियो का जो स्कोप है वो है आपको सिखाना कैसे आप ईमेल इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हो अपने एप्लीकेशन के साथ, नॉट दैट हाउ टू क्रिएट एप्लीकेशन इन जावा यूजिंग स्प्रिंग बूट। सो अगर आपको जावा नहीं आती या फिर स्प्रिंग बूट नहीं जानते हो, देन यू कैन स्किप दिस वीडियो, फर्स्ट लर्न दोज थिंग्स, देन यू कैन वॉच दिस वीडियो टू इंटीग्रेट ईमेल जावा स्प्रिंग बूट एप्लीकेशन, राइट। तो इस वीडियो में हम लोग बहुत सारे टर्म्स यूज़ करेंगे जो कि स्पेसिफिक है स्प्रिंग बूट से या फिर डेवलपमेंट रिलेटेड चीज़ें, तो कि शायद मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन ना करूँ, बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट डीप डाइव ऑन इन दोज थिंग्स, बिकॉज इस वीडियो का स्कोप वो है नहीं। जो इस वीडियो का स्कोप है आई ट्राई टू स्टिक टू दैट ओनली, ताकि वीडियो लेंथी ना बने, राइट। ओके, सो सबसे पहले हम लोग को चाहिए होगा एक प्रोजेक्ट। तो विल गो टू स्प्रिंग इनिशियलाइजर, राइट, एंड यहाँ पे हम लोग एक प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे, बेसिकली अपना जावा प्रोजेक्ट। सो विल चूज बिल्ड टूल एज मेवन, लैंग्वेज जावा रखेंगे। मैं 3.4.0 मैं सब कुछ डिफ़ॉल्ट रख रहा हूँ, ठीक है। ओके, फिर अपना पैकेज बनाओगे, सपोज में हम लोग कॉग्निसॉल्वर, ये आपके ऊपर है कैसे बनाते हैं इसको, आपको पता ही होगा अगर आप जावा जानते हो तो। कॉग्निसॉल्वर डॉट ईमेल, सो या अपना ग्रुप का नाम होगा com.cognisolver। आर्टिफैक्ट का नाम रखते हैं ईमेल। बेसिकली जो ये आर्टिफैक्ट का नाम होता है वो आपके ऐप का नाम होता है। सो पैकेज कुछ इस तरह से बनेगा, राइट। पैकेजिंग जावा रखते हैं, जावा 17 रखते हैं। आप जावा 21 26 कर सकते हो बेस्ड ऑन योर नीड्स, बट ये वीडियो में हम जावा 17 पर फोकस करेंगे। विल ऐड सम डिपेंडेंसी। सबसे पहले तो हम लोग रेस्टफुल एपीआई बनाने वाले हैं, बिकॉज ये जो एप्लीकेशन होगा एक काइंड ऑफ अ माइक्रो सर्विस, राइट, कि अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन इस एप्लीकेशन की एपीआई को कॉल कर सकते हैं टू सेंडिंग मेल्स, ताकि ये एक बस क्लोज सिस्टम ना रहे कि भाई अगर आपको मेल सेंड करना तो इसी एप्लीकेशन में मेल सेंड करवाएगा, ऐसा नहीं। तो हम लोग इसको एज ए रेस्टफुल एपीआई की तरह बनाएंगे और उसको एक्सपोज करेंगे ताकि आपके दूसरे एप्लीकेशन इसको एक्सेस कर सके, राइट। सो या उसके लिए हम लोग को चाहिए होगी स्प्रिंग वेब की डिपेंडेंसी। देन हमें चाहिए होगा ईमेल, जावा मेल सेंडर। देन हमें चाहिए होगा डेव टूल्स, स्प्रिंग डेव टूल्स, राइट। तो फिलहाल ये 3 डिपेंडेंसी रखते हैं, बाकी अगर आप और डिपेंडेंसी हम लोग को चाहिए होगा तो हम बाद में ऐड कर लेंगे, पर फिलहाल ये 3 डिपेंडेंसी रख के और ये सारे जो भी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इसको रख के हम लोग अपना प्रोजेक्ट को जनरेट करते हैं। वंस यू क्लिक जनरेट, ये आपका एक जिप फाइल डाउनलोड करके दे देगा, राइट। तो आपको ये जिप फाइल को अनजिप करना है और फिर आप किसी भी आईडी में इसको ओपन करना है, एंड देन विल मूव फॉरवर्ड। सो या लेट मी अनजिप इट। ओके गाइस, सो हमने इसको अनजिप कर लिया है, आप देख सकते हो ये सारे फोल्डर्स है, सोर्स वगैरह जो भी है। तो हम लोग इसको एक आईडी में ओपन कर लेंगे। सो आई लाइक स्प्रिंग टूल सूट, दैट इज STS। आप चाहो तो इसको एक्लिप्स वगैरह में भी कर सकते हो, मतलब बेसिकली आपको एक अच्छी आईडी चाहिए, आप चाहे तो VS कोड में भी कर सकते हो। आपको आपके पसंद की जो भी आईडी है आप उसमें इस प्रोजेक्ट को इंपोर्ट कर लीजिए। सो मैंने अपना STS ओपन कर लिया है। मैं यहाँ पे क्लिक करूँगा इंपोर्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स, एग्जिस्टिंग मेवन प्रोजेक्ट, ब्राउज टू माई प्रोजेक्ट, ईमेल, राइट, ईमेल, ये रहा ईमेल जो हमने अभी अनजिप किया था। और क्योंकि मेवन प्रोजेक्ट है तो ये form.xml को ऑटोमेटिकली डिटेक्ट कर लेगा। आपको बस क्लिक करना है फिनिश पे, and yeah, it will start importing this maven project. At the bottom of the screen you can see the progress, it's 99%. ओके, सो एज सुन एज ये इंपोर्ट हो जाता है फिर हम लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे। इसका जो फोल्डर स्ट्रक्चर है, हाँ एक बार मैं फिर से आपको एडिट कर दूँ कि मैं यहाँ पे फोल्डर स्ट्रक्चर वगैरह आपको नहीं एक्सप्लेन करने वाला हूँ, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी बेसिक थिंग इफ़ यू नो जावा स्प्रिंग बूट। So I'm not gonna explain that to you, but yeah, so yeah, we'll start with the with our packages first. So ये है अपना main class, right? That is our entry point of the application. Here you can see the annotation is there, Spring Boot application, right? So it's a Spring Boot application. So we'll create some packages. So हम लोग since हम लोग इसको RESTful सर्विस बनाने वाले हैं तो हम लोग को कंट्रोलर चाहिए होगा, सर्विस इंटरफेस चाहिए होगा, सर्विस का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्लास चाहिए होगा, राइट। हम लोग अभी रिपोजिटरी के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज वी आर नॉट डीलिंग विथ रिपोजिटरीज या डेटाबेस लेयर, वी आर नॉट डीलिंग राइट नाउ। अगर हम उसका डील करेंगे तो उसको ऐड कर सकते हैं, तो दैट्स ऑन यू, बट विल जस्ट सिंपली लर्न हाउ टू इंटीग्रेट दिस ईमेल. After learning that, customizations in your hands, right? So you can do that. Okay, so let's create a package in our base package. So that package name would be controller, correct? One more package for service. Perfect. In controller, we'll create the controller class. So I'm naming it email controller. You can name it anything, but it should be naming your classes or variables meaningful names, right? So email controller, I think it's a meaningful name. So just click on finish. There we have our email controller. Let's create our service interface. So I'll name it as email service. Perfect. Okay, now we need our implementation package inside service package. So just service.impl. Inside this impl package we'll have our impl class. So this is impl for email service, so I'll name it accordingly, email service impl. On naming conventions, I hope you know, right? So we'll annotate this class. Okay, first of all, this class should implement the email service interface. So we'll say implements email service. Perfect. Now we'll annotate this class. So we'll write @service because it's a service class, and you can give the value as well, right? So value is basically the name of the interface it is implementing. So in our case it's email service, and the name will be in camel casing. I hope you guys know this already, right? So email service is there. Perfect. We have the implementation class ready. Now we'll create a method in our email service interface. Basically we'll declare a method here, and then we have to define in the email service impl. I mean, that's how inheritance works in Java. Okay, so inheritance and abstraction both. So here we'll say a method which will return a string. The method name will be just simple send text email. Yeah, sounds right. And then we can we can have two values, right? One is the email address to which we want to send the email, that is a recipient, and the text email which we want to send. So I'm typing that message, right? So the recipient we need, the email address where the email is supposed to go, and what the message is supposed to go. Those two things will take here. Now again, ये बहुत ही सिंपल सा मैं ट्यूटोरियल बना रहा हूँ, इसमें कुछ मैं ज़्यादा तामझाम नहीं दिखा रहा हूँ, तो बहुत ही सिंपल चीज़ें है. नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू योर यूज केस these values may not match. I mean, this recipient obviously will be there, but not like this only single value. Maybe there is a DTO. That DTO will have all the values: recipient, message, image, link, OTP. So it's on you. Basically we'll just understand how to send this message to this recipient. So हमने यहाँ पे मेथड डिक्लेयर कर दिया. अब हमारे ईमेल सर्विस IMPL पे हम लोग को एरर दिखेगा, क्योंकि हमने इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया है, तो इसको हम लोग को, इसके मेथड्स को हम लोग को डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा. सो ऐड अनइम्प्लीमेंटेड मेथड्स, राइट, देयर इट इज. परफेक्ट. अब हम लोग फटाक से कंट्रोल में जाके उसको भी कन्फिगर कर लेते हैं. तो यहाँ एनोटेशन डाल देंगे, इट्स रेस्ट कंट्रोलर, एंड विल हैव अ बेस एंड पॉइंट. सो वी रिक्वेस्ट मैपिंग, राइट, या रिक्वेस्ट मैपिंग. इसके अंदर हम लोग वैल्यू डाल देंगे ईमेल API. आप कुछ भी रखो, आपके ऊपर है. करेक्ट है? ओके, फाइन. एंड इसके अंदर हम लोग को अपने सर्विस वाले को सर्विस जो इंटरफेस है उसको, इसका इंस्टेंस बनाना पड़ेगा. सो विल राइट प्राइवेट व्हाट वाज द नेम, ईमेल सर्विस. ना ध्यान रखिए कि हम लोग ईमेल सर्विस जो इंटरफेस है उसको यहाँ पे लाते हैं, जो सर्विस IMPL क्लास है उसको यहाँ पे लेके नहीं आते हैं, टू मेंटेन द एब्स्ट्रैक्शन. सो क्या कैसा इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है सर्विस IMPL के पास, वो हम कंट्रोलर को नहीं बताना चाहते, बस क्या मेथड से वो बताना चाहते हैं, राइट। सो हम जो इंटरफेस है उसको यहाँ पे इसका इंस्टेंस बनाएंगे और उसको यहाँ पे डिक्लेयर कर देंगे ईमेल सर्विस। फाइन। नाउ अब इसको यहाँ पे दो तरीके, आप या तो ऑटो वायर कर सकते हो, ऑटो वायर जो एनोटेशन आता है, तो उससे क्या होता है कि ऑटोमेटिकली इसका इंस्टेंस क्रिएट हो जाएगा, जैसे ही ईमेल कंट्रोलर का इंस्टेंस क्रिएट करेगा स्प्रिंग, वैसे ही ईमेल सर्विस का भी कर देगा और यहाँ पे इसको इंजेक्ट कर देगा, डिपेंडेंसी इंजेक्ट हो जाएगी। बट इसका एक और तरीका है, आप ऑटो वायर अगर नहीं करना चाहते तो आप कंस्ट्रक्टर के थ्रू भी डिपेंडेंसी इंजेक्शन कर सकते हो, राइट। बेसिकली आपको कंस्ट्रक्टर बनाना है इसका, उसमें उसके पैरेंट्स में इसको पास कर देना है इस फील्ड को, ईमेल सर्विस को, राइट। सो जनरेट कंस्ट्रक्टर यूजिंग फील्ड्स। सो मैं ईमेल सर्विस एक ही फील्ड हमारे पास फिलहाल है तो उसको लिख के बना लेते हैं। सी दिस इज अ कंस्ट्रक्टर फॉर ईमेल कंट्रोलर एंड दिस कंस्ट्रक्टर एक्सेप्ट्स अ वैल्यू दैट इज ईमेल सर्विस which then it sets to the this dot email service, that is this email service, right. I hope you know all these things. I'm not explaining what is this keyword, what is constructor, what is super is doing here, and what is dependency injection. I just hope you guys already know, because that is a prerequisite for this video. Perfect. So now we'll create a method, public, and the return type will be response entity, string only to return, send text email, right. It will take two values, right. One is a recipient email and what is the message to be sent. So right now I'm making it as a get mapping or get method, but usually it should be a post method. So in post we'll send as a request body. You know what, let us just do that, right. Let us just follow the perfect things. So yeah, I'll make a package called DTO, that is data transfer objects. So all the data transfer objects will be here. So let's make a new class, that is email payload, right. And for now in email payload we'll have only two fields, private string recipient email and private string email message, right. So source, generate getters and setters, select all, generate. Perfect. So we have our DTO, that is email payload. So this is supposed to be sent with the request body, whoever will call the API. Perfect. So this text email, it will accept a request body, sorry, right. A request body which is a type of email payload which we just created right now. There it is, email payload. I can name it anything, right. So there it is. Now it's throwing us error, the ID is yelling at us because we are supposed to return a value and we're not returning right now. So we can do one thing, and on a second thought, this email service, why it is, we can obviously deconstruct it, but we can send the email payload itself here, right. So email payload and email service IMPL also, it will yell at us. So there we go, email payload. I hope you guys don't have any issue till here, right. It's a simple basic Java Spring Boot application. I'm not doing anything extra. Perfect. Now I'll call that method, the email service method. So email service, we have the instance here, dot send text email, which expects email payload, which will send from here, right. Now this will return a string, so we can store it in a value like suppose success message, right. and we can then return this success message to the user who called this API to send the email, to let them notify that your email has been sent, or if there is any error, we'll throw that error as well to show that email could not be sent, right? So we can say return new response entity, right, of type string, and body will be success message, and with the HTTP status code, sorry, HTTP status, it's a HTTP status, yeah, dot okay, that is 200, right? Perfect. Now we have to define a method mapping, that is what kind of a method this is and what is the endpoint which will be hit, so the user will land to this particular method. So for that we'll have to define this. So this will be a post mapping, so post mapping, and value will be text. So email, so our endpoint will be, so our URL will be the server domain IP or server IP. Maybe if you're running it in localhost, so localhost colon the port number, or if you're running on any server, so that is the server name, that is basically IP address of the server. Suppose google.com, so that's google.com is IP address basically. So IP address, then slash email hyphen API, then slash text, then it will land to this controller and it will execute. Perfect. Okay, save it. So we have email controller ready. We don't need this extra things which are not used. Perfect. Now we need our email service method to be implemented. Now before implementing this email service, we need to do some things, right? So we need a way to send emails, right? That's what we're talking about here, right? So in how can we do that? So we are using Gmail. So how Gmail will allow us to send emails from Gmail via our application? Now that sounds complicated. Let me break it down to you. So suppose that there is a Gmail, right? So we can send email to a lot of people from Gmail app or Gmail web page, right? But how our application will connect to Gmail? That's what the main point here is. So for that, if you can come here, click on your icon or logo, manage your Google account, right? In the search bar, type app passwords. Now this first thing, app password under security, click on that and just verify that it's you by typing your password, right? And there is this app password. Now here you can create apps which you want to get access to your Gmail accounts or your Google accounts to log in, right? So basically, in simple words, you can create an app here, and for that app it will generate a unique password. Now using your Gmail ID and that password, your app can communicate to your Gmail account. I hope it's clear. So see, I previously created an email service app. Okay, yes, so you can do multiple creations also. You can do a single creation, but each time you create app, it will get a new unique ID, right? And you can delete once the one which you don't want. So suppose I'm deleting this one, right? I'll create a new one. App name can be anything, doesn't necessary to be your app name which is in your Java application. It can be anything, doesn't matter, and it should not be, not supposed to be a unique one. You can have any random name. So I'm creating email service. Click on create. So once it is created, it will show you this password, generate this app password. Now you need to copy this app password and store it safely somewhere, because once you click done or this page reloads or something happens, this password you will never be able to get it back. So you have to create new password for that. But that is not a issue, because अगर आप नया पासवर्ड क्रिएट करते भी हो तो उसमें कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, आप बहुत सारे पासवर्ड्स क्रिएट कर सकते हो, उसका कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं है, राइट? तो हम लोग इसको यूज़ करेंगे, और तो इसको आप कहीं पे सेव करके रख लीजिए। मैं तो बोलता हूँ कि अपने चलते हैं यहाँ पे और रिसोर्स, राइट? मैं फ़िलहाल के लिए यहाँ पे सेव करके रख लेता हूँ, राइट? ठीक है, परफेक्ट। ओके, सो आपको यहाँ देखिए, यहाँ पे आप अगर एक और बनाना चाहो एक और बना सकते हो, पुराना अगर आप डिलीट करना चाहो डिलीट भी कर सकते हो। ओके, सो इट्स ऑन यू, just play along. Now we need to create the properties file basically, or the application configurations files. So now there are two options. You can go with application.properties, or you can create application.yml file. So I prefer YAML files, I mean YML files, because I find them interesting. Actually, it's on you. If you want to go with properties file, you can do that. Feel free to do that actually, right? So yeah, let's create those files. So now there is application properties by default, but I'm gonna do application.yml, so we'll delete this application properties later, but now just keep it here because this password is there. So yeah, I'll create new file in the resource folder. File, I'll name it application.yml. okay, now let's add codes here. So first thing, we'll add profiles. Now we are gonna make this app as profile oriented, because maybe you have some different emails in different profiles. So in dev email, in dev environment you want to use different email for testing, in test environment you want to different email, in production you want a different email to be used. So that's why we're gonna use the Spring profile. So based on the profile it will take the values, right? Okay, and we can only see seeing for dev profile here, and based on that thing you can explore the test and dev profile. So basically if you see one environment, how to configure one environment, you can configure the other environments also. It's just the value changes, key will be same, right? I hope you understand. So Spring, now one tab and then profiles and then active, right? So this is a property and value will change it dynamically, so we'll give a placeholder here. Okay, let's say active profile. Now we have to give a suppose this value is not, this variable, this placeholder is not there, Spring is not able to identify this variable. So what it should take by default. So by default we'll say okay, take dev, right? It's a fallback, it's a fallback, right? So if nothing there, then take dev. Okay, now after profile we have a spring.mail. So you see the spring.mail means after spring mail should come. So it is following the hierarchy of profile. So spring.profile.active and then spring.mail, and then follow the following things. So if you are writing the properties file, so in properties file it will be like spring.profiles.active, right? So this is the first part. Second thing will be spring.mail, right? And then host or something like that, right? So in properties we have to write like this, and then to define the values we have to give equal instead of colon, right? You can do like this, but in YAML we don't have to write every time this common thing. So see the common things is at the top. So spring both are common, so they are at the top. Profiles and mail, they are different, but they are at the same hierarchy, right? After spring profiles would come and after spring mails would come, right? So I hope you understand the difference between YAML and properties file. Okay, so coming to this one, mail. So in mail we have a property called host. So host will have the email host, right? It will be also dynamic one. So yeah, we'll have a placeholder. Perfect. Now what are these values will be, I'll explain in a bit. Let me just write it first. Okay, it will be email underscore port. Now one thing I must tell you guys here, this email underscore host, email underscore port, or email underscore password, these things you don't have to stick to this only words. You can, these are variables actually, so you can name them anything which you want, but just keep remember that what variable name you have given here. So you have to, when you are defining these variable values, you have to use the same name, right? Okay, we're done with password. Then we have this default encoding, that will be UTF-8. okay, then we have properties mail, then we have mime, why the suggestions is not coming? Properties mail mime, then character set, that is char set, it will be UTF SMTP. Don't know why suggestions are not coming. Anyways, we'll write them by our own. Okay, write timeout. Write timeout. I'm keeping it as 10 seconds. You can increase or decrease based on your experience. So from my experience, 10 seconds is a optimal time for timeout things in this particular implementation. Right timeout, then we have same as connection timeout, keep it as 10 seconds also. Then general timeout 10 seconds. Okay, then you have to say auth, it is authenticated or not. Yeah, that value should, everything should be authenticated. And start TLS, we have to enable this. Okay, and it should be required as well, required true, fine. And then we'll have a verify, that is under properties, I guess. So this is one tab for mail, second tab for properties, so it is under the properties hierarchy. Verify, then the host will be a dynamic value, so verify email host. Okay, so now email related confusions are clear. Now application related confusions will be there. So server, so basically server, then we have port, it will also be dynamic. So yeah, server port, I'm keeping it as default 9001. I mean default Tomcat port is 8080, but if it is not available, so I'm keeping it 9001. If nothing is found, then keep it as 9001, or maybe just keep it 8080. If 8080 is not there, if nothing is there, then try 8080. If it is already defined, then take that value, right? Why this is coming unknown properties spring.mail? I don't know why it's saying like that. Okay, fine. So now we have application.yml ready. Now we have to create the specific environment YAML, that is these values which we just added placeholders, so I have to give values to them, right? So yeah, I'll create the dev profile, so application -dev.yml. so this is our dev YAML. So I hope you know the naming convention. After application you have to give hyphen and then the environment name, dev, prod, test, whatever you want, right? So we'll only see for dev in this particular video. Okay, so in dev profile, first let's have server configuration. So yeah, now I just told you, right? So in this thing, okay, so this server port, so these values should be same. So let's just copy paste them from here to there, so there is no typo, right? So server port value I'm keeping it as 9001. So if 9001 will not be available, or maybe this value is, say I missed it, then it will take 8080, then it will take 8080, right? 9001. And then active profile, right? Let's just copy paste that as well. So this active profile value, so since the dev environment, I'm keeping it as dev. So for test YAML file, we'll have test here, or prod, or whatever your environment name is, right? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Now email configurations will do, right? Okay, so we have a lot of email configuration thing, like this email host, email port and password, all these things. So in the email host section, you have to type smtp.gmail.com. Now this thing should be as it is, right? You should not change it, otherwise your application won't work. And in the second point, we have email port. So at the time of recording this video, this email port is 587 for Gmail servers. Now maybe if you're watching this video in future, after 6 months or maybe 1 year, maybe this port is changed. So you just have to check in Google, search that what is the port of for Gmail, and you will get that, right? But they change it rarely, because there are a lot of things dependent on this, so I don't think they will change it. But yeah, anyways, if you search for it, you will get the actual value. Fine. So next one is email ID. Okay, I think we missed email ID here. Okay, so we'll add the email ID field here, right? We need the email ID, correct? So before password, you should have email ID, right? Yeah, that will be username, not email. Okay, so these things like host, port, username, password, these things you should not change. But after this, the value you can change in, you can name anything, because those are variables. But these are set properties. So spring.mail.username, here you should enter your email address. So we'll make that dynamic as well. So yeah, email ID. Okay, nice. So we'll go here and we'll email ID, and I'll add my email ID. You guys please add yours. Perfect. cognisolver@gmail.com. Now it's time for the password. So email password. So now this time we'll take the password which we generated from our Google account to login. So we'll paste it here and just remove the extra spaces. There should not be any space. Okay, now you guys don't try with these credentials, because it won't work now, because as soon as this video will release, I'll just delete this app login password, and you guys won't be able to log in with this one. So don't try to be over smart here. Okay, fine. Now next thing is left. So now see, we have our password, so we don't need this application.properties file. I'm just gonna delete this one. Okay, so last thing, this verify email host, you have to define this value as well. Now this is this will be your IP address, then port number, basically your IP address. So since we are gonna run it on local, so we'll have it as http://localhost: $server port, right? This is the value. Okay, why it is giving red lines? Okay, there should not be a space after the colon. Perfect, right? So this is our email host. Now if you are deploying your application to some cloud service or some servers, so you should add the IP address here, right, after HTTP or HTTPS, whatever your method is, right? Fine. Now we are done with the configurations. So we need a couple of values in our email service IMPL here, and some thing like a mail sender. So we'll create this private Java mail sender. Remember we added a dependency, Java mail sender. I just name it mail sender, and you can do the constructor dependency injection or auto-wire as you seem fit. Okay, so generate constructors using fields. Perfect. Okay, after this we'll need two more values. That is one. So we in email payload will have recipient email address, but we need two address, right? Like sorry, two address will have, that recipient and from where this email is going. So that we defined here, right? In that the email ID, this is our from email address. So that will take here, and we'll have to insert, we'll have that value in our service class. So we'll use the value annotation. I hope you guys know what is value annotation. So that will be from email, right? From email. So we'll use @value. So @value, what it does, whatever value will have here, so it will try, the Spring will try to go to the properties files or YAML files or configuration files and take out the values from there. So we have to define the key for it. So key is basically what we need, this email ID, right? So it is spring.mail.username, correct? If you just hover over it, you can see spring.mail.username. So we'll add it here. Now at a runtime, Spring will add this the value in your from your YAML file to this from email field. We are ready to construct this method. Okay, so we have to have a simple mail message. There is a class called simple mail message. So we have to have an instance of this class, new simple mail message. Right, now we can set the values inside this message. So dot set subject, so maybe email testing from Java Spring Boot. Okay, fine, this will be our subject. You can add any subject, right? And then we have to add the message dot from where this mail, sorry, message dot set from. So it is from email, right? This one. So from this email, mail gonna be sent. Then to set the to email, that is message dot set to. So that is to email we can get from this email payload, right? So email payload dot get recipient email. Okay, and last we'll need the message. What kind of message we're gonna send? So message dot set text, right? We're gonna send a simple text message. So that also be gonna be available in our email payload. Email payload dot get email message, right? After this we can send it. So we have email sender, right? Mail sender. So mail sender dot send, and here we can pass this message object, right? Okay, now we can return that mail sent successfully. Now I'm not going deep into error handling and all. I think guys, you can handle the error, you can add a try catch, handle the IO exception, right? So that's on you, you can do that. But my sole focus is to just to make you learn how to send emails. Now those other things are the things which are part of the Java development or Spring Boot development that you guys all maybe already know, right? So you can work with that. If you don't know, just ping me that how to handle any error or something like that. Just mail me. I can try to solve your queries. Fine. Okay, so our service class is also ready. Perfect. Now we need to test this method, so we can use any API testing tool like Postman or Insomnia. So we'll use Postman in this video. Okay, so before that, Postman, we need to run our application. So yeah, let it run. Okay, so you can come here to the main class and just right click and run as Java application. Okay, so our application is running at port 9001. Okay, so yeah, let's test on this Postman. So you see that this is a post API and this is our endpoint. If you go to control, you see this is a post mapping and the endpoint will be the base endpoint, and then after the endpoint of the method. So this email -API / text. So localhost :9001 / email -API / text. This is our URL for this particular API. And in the request body, it is email payload. If I open the email payload, you can see recipient email and email message. So I added these two fields in this JSON. I will have to fill this field, so I'll just use my another mail address for testing. So we'll send a mail from our cognisolver@gmail.com to officialcc.hin@gmail.com, and our email message will be, hi, I am an email message. I am an simple text email message from Java Spring Boot app. Right? Okay, so we'll try to send. I'll show you the mailbox for this one. So this is a mailbox. There is nothing. If I just refresh, there is no email from Cognisolver right now, right? Okay, so we'll send. We'll click send and let's see what happens. If it is 200, we'll get a 200 response here and the message. If it is not able to send, it will throw the error. Maybe after 10 seconds, till 10 seconds it will try. Okay, now we got 200 and the message as mail sent successfully. That means mail should be supposed to be sent. Let's go here. Yeah, we got it, right? See, we got our mail. Let's open it. So hi, I am a simple text email message from Java Spring Boot apps coming from Cognisolver to us official CC. Okay, perfect guys. So we are good to go, I think now. So this is how you integrate email in your Java Spring Boot application. Now this was a very simple text email. Now you can send HTML emails, you can send PDFs, images. You can be as creative as you can be with this particular thing, and customization is on your hand. There is no limit, no nothing. You can do everything. Just explore what more you can do. Now once you are able to send the mail, you can send anything in that mail, right? So you just have to explore that what more you can send and how to make a good email. You have seen, right, multiple emails come maybe coming in your mailbox, have very good UI, right? It looks like a very great website kind of thing. So you can do obviously send HTML emails using Thymeleaf or JSP. So if you guys interested, you can ask me in the comment section, or mail me or ping us on our socials, so that we know that we will get to know that okay, you understand this particular part and you want more, so that we can make videos on those as well. Yeah, so that's it for this video guys. Let's meet in the next one. Till then, keep coding and keep learning.